shows where you start to watch an episode because you think it'll be funny, but halfway through you have to take a break so that you don't immediately have an aneurysm. So today we're going to be watching an episode called Aliens and Lost Worlds. We're only watching and dissecting the first 10 minutes, partially for my mental well-being and partially because the only good screen recorder I can use is the free version of Bandicam, which is a 10-minute time limit.
So let's just jump into it.
A mighty empire, ruled by the descendants of gods. A remote island, where stone giants walked the earth. And a fertile garden, where modern man was born. Are the legends behind these ancient locations really based on fact?
Well, not for the Garden of Eden, but, I don't know about any legends about Easter Island besides the obvious, there's a lot of stone burial heads there. I don't know where you're going with this, but, you know.
If so, why did they exist? And why have the answers been lost to history?
Okay, so let me get this straight. These people made a professionally, high-budget show, and their first thought was, let's have this idea. And also, if this idea was true, then why, you're telling the audience immediately that your ideas are not good, because you're like, if this idea that we came up with is true, then how would it fit in with the rest of history? You literally just said it yourself. It doesn't fit with the rest of history. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, you're completely wrong.
How in the heck did they make these? How did they move them? Nobody has the answer.
Look at this video clip. As soon as the rest of the Moai statues were discovered, they immediately found out how they moved them. You're making a professional show here. You should know the answers to these questions. A Google search, at least. God.
It may well be that the Garden of Eden today is underwater.
It also may well be that the Garden of Eden today isn't, because, the Garden of Eden is a theological concept and not a real place that you can visit today.
These cultures were connected by flying machines operated by extraterrestrials.
No.
Millions of people around the world believe we have been visited in the past by extraterrestrial beings.
Funny thing, Ancient Aliens, tens of millions of people are also stupid.
What if it were true?
If it were true, I probably wouldn't be making this video.
Did ancient aliens really help to shape our history? And might we find proof by searching for our planet's mysterious lost worlds? This archaeological site is believed to have been the cultural and political center of the once mighty Maya civilization that thrived between 2000 BC and 800 AD.
Why is there such a heavy vignette, and why did the camera just suddenly fixate on the guy on the front? They're taking themselves way too seriously. This is a show about ancient aliens. Nobody's gonna actually invest themselves into it, right? Right?
To some extent, the idea that the Mayans became a lost culture is a yes and a no. We know that they stopped building, but at the very heart of the Mayan is a belief, it's a religion, which continues to beat until this very day, saying, please pay attention to us because we have this vast body of knowledge we want to share with the world.
Might a closer look at the Mayan stone carvings and their hieroglyphs provide proof of contact with extraterrestrials at Copan?
No.
According to ancient astronaut theorists,
whenever I hear the words ancient alien astronaut theorists, it just makes me, I crack up every time. It's so funny.
Some of the large statues at Copan are infinitely fascinating to me because the gear that they're wearing is very reminiscent of something technological. One of the figures has a box with tubes coming out, and buttons, and just very weird things. These statues look like some type of a being wearing an astronaut suit. And in my opinion, that means that we were visited by some type of extraterrestrials who were very similar in appearance to us. Because according to the ancient texts, we were created in...
Okay, this is assuming a lot of things. It's assuming that God is an alien. It's assuming that there are aliens. It's assuming that ancient aliens are real. And it's assuming that all those barely recognizable things on the headdress of that ancient statue are modern futuristic tech gear for space travel.
Researchers working in Copan have also found stone sculptures called stela, which have provoked controversy since the site was discovered in 1576. And various interpretations of the carvings suggest the Maya may have had knowledge of a world far beyond their own continent.
You gotta be kidding me.
This is one of the curious dragon sculptures here at Copan, of which there are many. In fact, these very oriental statues would look right at place in China or some other oriental country.
The sculpture you're seeing right now is a sculpture by one Guillaume Laffitte in the Renaissance. He was a French sculptor. He sculpted a lot of things. This one is called Fan. It translates from French to inner struggle. Now, what if I told you that Guillaume Laffitte wasn't a real person in the Renaissance? The sculpture is by Michelangelo, and that Fan isn't even a French word, it's a Vietnamese word for poop. Now, I just passed off a work by an artist to a different artist from a different country, and you probably didn't know it unless you were Michelangelo stans, which I doubt you are.
Some archaeologists believe that there are elephants on either side of this Copan ruler.
Ah, yes, because all things that remotely resemble animals from a different side of a planet in a sculpture from like 1,000 years ago are, of course, the thing that we think they are.
So why would there be here at Copan such Asian motifs as elephants and dragons in a place in Central America that is so far away from China and Southeast Asia?
Well, sir, I think you're misunderstanding something. Dragons are nothing new, and plus I don't think these are even dragons. Like, dragons aren't even specifically Asian as you make them out to be. Like, these could easily just be snakes. You know, snakes are pretty popular in, like, Mesoamerican ancient cultures, you know? Why can't it just be a snake?
Is there some kind of extraterrestrial connection between the Mayans and the Chinese?
No.
And an origin for both that comes from the stars?
No!
How could the early Maya of Central America have had knowledge possessed by people living in Asia, on the other side of the Pacific Ocean?
Answer! They didn't!
One of the basic premises of the ancient astronaut theory suggests
I'm sorry.
that there was contact between ancient cultures way before we give them credit. These ancient cultures were in fact connected by flying machines. And those flying machines were usually operated by extraterrestrials.
Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding? I think I'm gonna have a mental breakdown if I hear one more stupid thing.
And especially in the Mayan carvings, we find many references of the gods descending from the sky in flying serpents.
Anyway, that's all for today. I only reviewed like 3/4 of the original 10 minutes, but you know, I think it's pretty healthy for me to stop right here. Anyway, subscribe if you want to. Bye!